Welcome to Softcore History.
What is up? Welcome back to Softcore History. I am your host for the week, Rob Fox, and I'm joined as always by my two wonderful co-hosts, Jake Goldman. How's it going?
Oh, it's going well.
Good.
It's going well. I thought you were going to throw it to Dan.
Well, I can say, and then also Dan Regester.
I thought you were calling me the Gold Man. That's Jake. I'm the Gold Man, and I am the Players Championship Gold Man AI.
Actually, it's my favorite golfer now because it's the only Goldman on the tour.
The Gold Man.
At the Gold Man. That's
So
right.
if you're unfamiliar, which I'm sure 99% of the audience is, with the Gold Man at the Players now.
Talking golf.
Yeah, we're talking golf off the bat. They took every Players Championship winner and just mashed it into this, I don't know, like liquid man.
That's
made
awful.
Of gold.
That's awful.
It's like the Terminator 2 guy turned into liquid metal, but it's gold. That's what it looks like.
What they should have done is some like unholy combination of all of them with like limbs and mouths and stuff, and it's just like
that would have been much better.
Island of Dr. Moreau.
Literally, yeah.
Killed me.
Yeah,
That's got like 8 arms.
The best part about it, though, was they redid the better than most shot on 17 that Tiger Woods makes to the putt. And they show it to Tiger Woods, and it's the Gold Man.
What does Tiger Woods
and
say?
they're just like, they get Tiger's reaction. He's just like, whoa.
He's like, okay,
what is this?
sure.
Why'd you take me out of this?
Yeah, why don't you just show the highlight?
Yeah. I have 2 questions for you, Dan. One, why did you jack your chair up as high as it could go?
Yeah. He's showing off the thighs.
I can go down.
I thought you were I thought you were trying to big dick us.
I wasn't trying to lord over you, no.
It felt like it.
Okay.
And 2,
I would never do that.
What
I have
is
too
the-
low self-esteem.
That's fair. And 2, now these are both questions that the video viewers will get more than the audio listeners, but why would you possibly sit in this chair but then keep your sleeve down?
Oh, yeah. Roll
Should
up
I
your
pop
sleeve.
top?
Pop top.
You can pop top if you want. You need to roll up the sleeve at least. Push it up.
Listen,
Show
make
up that.
fun of it all you want.
I'm not.
It has opened up a new avenue. It's opened up doors for me.
It's definitely gotten a lot of lost souls to come your way.
Yeah. That's what it is.
It's a beacon. It's a beacon for sluts, dude. I'm sorry. Like, that's what that lighthouse is.
Good Lord.
No comment.
All right.
Oh, should I not have said that?
Nah, it's fine.
No, that's fine. We'll keep that in.
I'm not saying you're running
But
around
yeah.
tossing dick
It's
everywhere.
just
I'm
ships
just saying
lost at sea, and they you're just an island that they find and can
feel solid
find
land
safe
for a
harbor
minute.
for.
Just park for the night to weather the storm, you know?
Yeah.
But little do they know you are the storm.
I come up with a lantern
Yeah.
Yeah,
raincoat.
You're Willem Dafoe in the lighthouse. Yeah.
and Pattinson.
I would say
both.
I was going to go more of a Charles Widmore situation.
Yeah, I'm actually the Goldman version of the lighthouse. I'm just a combination of Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know who you were talking about.
I'll pop top, though.
That's the guy who owns the island in Lost.
Oh.
Yeah. There you go. Pop that top. Show that lighthouse. There's no reason not to. And the lighthouse, it's kind of historical.
Yeah.
Right?
Lighthouses have served purposes in history.
So I actually booked the next appointment with my guy, Henry.
What's the next one going to be?
It's in July. It's going to be a fallen Zeppelin out of the sky
Oh, right.
that's on fire.
I pitched, by the way, that the lighthouse should be shooting a beam of heat out of its light that's igniting the Zeppelin.
Which I might be down for.
It's like, hey, man, I know you did a great job on this standalone lighthouse, but now that we're incorporating it into a sleeve,
It's all shading, so it's super easy.
You can blend it. Yeah, but you need a more direct segue, like Rob is saying, into the next tattoo. I think the heat beam makes sense.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This all checks out.
100%. And Zeppelin also historic.
Led Zeppelin.
Well, just a Zeppelin.
That's the worst part is that you try to look up Zeppelin tattoos,
And it's all Led
only
Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin tattoos.
Barf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who gives a shit? Anyway, though, you want to talk about some history?
Sure.
We got some
What do
history.
you got today, Rob?
So today's episode is inspired by current events. Not quite our snow episode that you hate so much. But
Well, I hate it because of circumstance, right? Like I
Yeah.
was literally living in the studio.
that's true. You were.
I had to record here. You guys were safely at home on
Warm.
Zoom.
Yeah.
I just hate doing episodes on Zoom.
Yeah.
That's why we don't have any guests on Zoom.
We don't. We hate doing guests on Zoom.
Only in-person guests.
That's a hard. It would literally have to be like a president of the United States for me to break the Zoom rule.
No.
It would have to be like
Man's got to have a code.
It would have to be like Obama talking about killing bin Laden, or like Trump attempting to explain why he started Space Force.
I believe in very few things, but one of those things is no Zoom on softcore.
That's
history.
fair. I'm for it too.
The last time we tried to do an episode on Zoom where it was just us three, it got corrupted or like didn't record right, and we just lost that episode.
It was also just bad.
It was a bad episode.
Like not,
Yeah.
I'm not because it was your episode, but like
No, it was also bad.
There's no mess, there's no
solely
fucking
because
vibe.
it was your episode.
Yeah. No, it was like, it's fine. We don't have to re-record.
It's like, oh, it's a Jake Goldman episode.
Yeah, it was just a bad episode. And Jake was like, we can redo it. And we're like, no, it's fine. No. We don't
It's like, actually, we want to talk to you exactly about these kind of episodes.
We sat him down.
Never do them again.
that was
This is
Be
all true.
specific.
This is all true.
This is real. Yeah.
the history of trees, I believe.
No, it was the history.
It was just general plants, I believe.
Yeah.
It's the history of fauna. It's like, so yeah, the first seeds, huh? No.
But yeah, we're here to talk today about, it's inspired by the Russian invasion of Ukraine, because to me, the Russian invasion of Ukraine that's happening right now is obviously it's a historical event that's happening in real time, but it is actually just the latest expression of a long pattern.
Are you sure it's not like a crisis actor situation? Are we sure it's history?
Are we sure Ukraine exists?
No, I've never been.
Yeah,
Never seen it.
right. And also one time, this is how I know the invasion's fake, not to get all Alex Jones on you, but Zelensky smiled in one of those videos, and at no point when something bad is happening to you do your lips ever curl upwards.
No.
At any point.
Yeah.
That was the thing he was saying when, like, right before going on camera, one of the Sandy Hook dads was, like, talking to someone, and he's just like, oh, yeah. And then, like, went on camera and was like, I'm devastated by the loss of my job. Like, it's totally inconceivable that 2 seconds before he could be like, yeah, this is going to suck, or something.
Hey, we don't want the smoke from the Alex Jones fans. don't go down that rabbit hole.
I'll take it.
No,
I don't give a shit.
No.
What are they going to do? Call me a crisis actor? I'm Jewish. I'm a globalist. Like, they already
true.
fucking hate me.
And also, Jake is made of gold. He is the gold man.
And I'm a hybrid man pig,
Yes. And
born in a San Francisco lab.
Yeah.
who is a hybrid man pig in this world that Alex Jones is like the tapestry of his conspiracies? Who is that a thing he says?
It's just a lab that they grow in.
What is that
They
a
just
real
grow man-
thing?
They grow
I
man.
don't know, man. I don't
Maybe.
follow it day to day.
To be fair, like, I'd be low-key down depending on their level of sentience, which pigs are already pretty sentient. So
They
if
are.
we were growing man pigs for, organ farms.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, everybody's against a sentient man pig organ farm until their kidneys fail.
Well, couldn't you just?
I think that the idea is for the organs.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what Alex Jones was kind
could
of
you just like
alluding to.
3D print an organ anyway? Now I feel like you can.
Not yet.
I feel like we're almost there.
Almost.
That's why we
You
got to
can 3D
ramp up.
print a gun.
We got to ramp up the abortions. I'm going to say that right now, just so everyone at home's okay with this. We got to ramp up the abortions so we can get the stem cells for the 3D printed organs.
So we can 3D print to take a life, but we cannot 3D print to give life.
Or to maintain it, I guess. Yeah. No.
Did
we'll
my
get
dick 3D print a baby?
there. Kind of.
Actually, yeah, a little bit.
Kind of.
Like, I gave the ink for the printer. My wife's the printer.
And you're the ink.
Yeah, I was tossing the
You're
ink.
the
Printer's
ink card.
pretty useless without the cartridge.
Right.
Yeah.
It's completely useless.
If anything, you're the
one time.
you're the real reason this baby's in the world.
I agree. Oh, I've always said that. Yeah.
The most sexist joke I've heard about that dynamic that you're talking about is, well, if you put a quarter in a soda machine and a Coke comes out, whose Coke is it? The machine's or yours?
Yeah. See, I get down with that right now because I've been hanging out with Eli too much.
Hell yeah.
I don't know who that is.
From Giggle Boys.
It's just a guy named Eli. That's all you need to know.
There's a guy named Eli by the Subway.
Yeah.
We're going to start bringing Subway
But I
in the
mean, like,
canon
what guy
here.
named Eli doesn't believe
so
shit like
it's
that?
starting to
Yeah.
rub off, you know. If I come off a little too red pilly, you know why.
I can understand, like, taking responsibility for yourself as a man. I don't really understand why it has to be also including, like, women suck. Like, why is that a part of the equation?
Well, because they're whores, Jake.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got it.
You got to remember that part.
That's the key to red pill.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
if there weren't women, everything would be great, right?
Would it? Is that what? I don't even know.
I don't really even understand red pill, to be completely honest with you. It seems
That's another thing we could probably table with Alex Jones.
yeah, probably. Yeah. No. Red pill people are stupid. I'm going to just say that.
Any pill. I hate all pills.
Yeah, I don't want the blue pill either.
Or black pill.
Black pill. Black pill's just just laziness.
I think that's incels, just in general.
They're just nihilists, basically.
Is that what it is? Black pill?
Was there an option to take all the pills?
Yeah.
Why?
As long as they're oxy.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happens?
You die.
It's all first off. Most red pills and black pills now are so laced with fentanyl that you'll die. Yeah, so
It's
Everything's laced with fentanyl.
yeah.
I think even like I have a buddy who's a prosecutor back home, and he's like, yeah, these cops were like, can we test the weed for fentanyl? And he's like, why the fuck would you test weed for? Who's doing that? And then they tested. He's like, shit, there was fentanyl in the weed.
I actually had to go to the
Everything.
hospital the other day because I had some Dayquil that was just laced.
That would actually be a funny sketch. It's like you're eating Burger King and it's so laced with fentanyl and you die.
It's like
Everything is fentanyl.
Fentanyl's the microplastic of 2022. Everything's got fentanyl in it.
No, it's just become the new American corn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Corn's
like,
in everything.
there's
like high
also-
fructose corn syrup.
Yeah.
It's just fentanyl now.
Yeah. There's also just like a fentanyl continent floating in the Pacific, like next to the plastic island or whatever.
Yeah, all these drug dealers keep siphoning, like scraping the top off the fentanyl island to boost up their heroin.
That's how you do it.
God, a fentanyl island would be that would just be like
When did
so
that-
many dead fish.
Fentanyl became like prevalent because of El Chapo, right? Like he was like the big cartel that was moving.
I actually don't know. I often question
embarrassed.
like why.
I'm embarrassed I don't know this because I'm a big cartel guy.
Yeah, but also like someone at like I guess Purdue Pharma or something was like, you know what, this morphine and Dilaudid and all this shit we make not strong enough. We need fentanyl, which is like 200 times stronger than morphine or some shit like that.
Hey,
it's like
you always go back. You always go back to the drug dealer who sells to the guy that dies.
Yeah.
You want
Like
the
I had
strong
good
shit.
No, it's crazy because like that used to be a thing where you wouldn't go back to that drug dealer if someone died from what they sold. Now it's like, oh damn, he's got good shit.
Got the good shit.
Got the good shit. Also, you might be able to get them on prices a little bit.
It's like I heard this killed someone. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, buddy.
You can
That's
start.
fine.
You can haggle them.
Let me get an eighth.
It's like an Italian market. Just haggle on the price.
That's my joke. If the market is like too free or like too unregulated and there's just like shitty, like people will pay like $1 for a flight from like LA to Vegas, but like they crash 20% of the time.
Right. No, because like
But people are like, dude, it's $1. I mean, it's a fucking dollar.
that's the thing. That's true. That is important to remember though. It's like I think we brought this up on the elevator episode when you were talking about
It's the same thing. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like there's no elevator regulation, so there's just like some buildings where the elevators, like the cables just snap. All
It's
the
just
time
Tower
and
of
fucking
Terror
die. Yeah,
in
yeah,
that
yeah.
building, yeah.
And they're like, dude, but then people won't do business with them. And it's like, well, depending on their prices.
yeah. It's like we'll take the stairs.
Yeah. But anyway, get back into the topic at hand. So I kind of think Russia's invasion of Ukraine is the latest in a long pattern of basically what they've been doing since the 14th century, probably 15th century, we'll say, the 1400s, where they just really, really want to matter. And this episode is called Russia, the Bridesmaid of Europe.
Okay.
The bridesmaid is in always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Now, is this post-Mongol?
This is, yes, post fighting off the Mongols. That is a big important part of their history, though, and that plays into their psychology of being the greatest country in Europe, which they keep trying, or in the West or in the world, any and all of those things at some point or another, because they kind of believe that one of their great victories as a people, one of their great contributions to the world as a people, was keeping Christendom safe from the Mongol horde.
Okay.
That is it. But that is sort of pre-Russia. That's more of Rus.
Right. That's like at the beginning of the expansion east, right? For Russia.
East and south.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like that's when they finally start. That's kind of around the time they decided like we're gonna go east of the Caucasus Mountains and like continue.
A little bit. They're
Okay.
more concerned with Europe still at that point.
Okay.
I didn't get into their fully into their geographic expansion. It's more like what we're going to talk about today are sort of focal points throughout Russian history, extremely similar to the current invasion of Ukraine
Sure.
to show that this is a pattern of behavior of Russia. And by the way, they're losing the invasion of Ukraine, despite what some people like to say. Not that I don't respect Holloway's opinion, but I kind of think Russia's fucking losing the.
I don't think they're losing.
I think they are. I don't respect your opinion.
I get that. I knew that. Like that's unsurprising.
But I do respect the other Dan's opinion.
I would almost be more suspect if you were like, yeah, no, I really respect your opinion, Dan. Like,
Right.
it's very valuable. No. Like,
That would be very scary.
it's like, what kind of ruse are you trying
It's a
to
honeypot
pull?
situation, yeah.
Well, speaking of ruse,
Yeah, speaking of ruse.
yeah,
So Russia, the bridesmaid of Europe. So first off, this is a play on the term "the sick man of Europe," which was what the Ottoman Empire, how the Ottoman Empire was described in the 1850s until their full collapse in World War I, and was coined actually by Tsar Nicholas I of Russia. We'll get more into that in a bit, but essentially the Ottoman Empire was dying and described as such. But yeah, like I said, if the dying Ottoman Empire was the sick man of Europe, Russia is Europe's bridesmaid, and really the world's bridesmaid at this point.
yeah.
Started out as Europe's, became kind of the world's bridesmaid.
It's like a far third.
What?
It's like there's a 1 and a 2, obviously,
Right.
in the world.
Right now.
Yeah, and there's a very, very, very.
I don't think they're third.
I mean, yeah, I guess
I'm pretty sure, watching what they're doing in Ukraine, I'm pretty sure France could take Moscow at this point.
Yeah, if we're gonna go with like a sports comparison that we usually go to,
Yeah.
if this is the big three for the Miami Heat. You have LeBron, you have Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. I would probably consider Russia more like Mike Miller.
yeah. Russia is Udonis Haslam.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, another thing I like, because I was kind of thinking of doing it based on college football.
Sure.
Russia, throughout their history and even now, they're almost, their closest comparison might be like Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, Arkansas, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of pomp and circ, but like Ole Miss is there's more pomp to it
Sure.
than
Yeah.
Arkansas.
Arkansas's had more success than Ole Miss too.
Yes, I think they have in basketball for sure, but I think Ole Miss has some older success.
I don't, I think we're going for the same point here. It's
Right.
just like, people are like, just wait until we're back. And it's like,
Right.
from when?
Right.
Like, when?
Dude,
Like,
they're
when
like,
was the last time you were?
We're coming.
here?
Like, well, that's the other thing too.
Yeah.
Like, dude, we're next. We're coming.
Yeah.
Well, you know we could. We're a sleeping giant type
Yeah.
of thing.
You don't
Right.
even know what I'm about to do. It's like a guy in high school you went to high school with, and he is becoming a SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah, he downloaded Fruity Loops or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, dude, I just downloaded this free software. I got it off LimeWire. I'm going to make the sickest fucking beats. And it's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
It's like, just wait.
No.
Just
Yeah.
wait.
Just wait. Just
Yeah.
wait. And that has happened a lot. No nation in history, actually, that I can tell, has more frequently demanded to be respected or assumed greatness would fall in their lap or just kind of come to them, only to be denied. And usually, the best part with Russia is usually in the most slapdick ways possible. Like when their history is a series of like, I don't know, like proud walks right onto a fucking rake. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's just like confidently failing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of Benny Hill music.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like how Miami football is ranked in like the top 6 every preseason. And all Miami fans are like, here we fucking come, dude. But without the previous insane success of Miami, basically.
Yeah, right.
So the most recent example.
Hey, let's give Russia its due. I think, like, other than the United States, Russia is number 2 in our amount of episodes we've done on softcore history.
About them.
Yeah.
yeah.
So we did St. Olga or whatever.
We've done like
Yeah.
4 or 5 episodes.
We did the Kadailov Pass.
Dial Up Pass. We did Rasputin.
Mm-hmm.
We did this one.
They're pretty prevalent.
Yeah. it's true.
in our catalog.
Well,
Well,
look,
they're
just,
a giant place with a
just
lot of
because
history.
they're making history doesn't mean they're making good history.
Well, I think like last week was our first China episode.
Dutch, the East
India
India
Company.
Company. Well, that was kind of
kinda
that's
dabbled.
yeah. That's
Glossed over
China
that.
was an ancillary character.
yeah.
Yeah.
The main character was East India Company.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, the most recent example of this sort of Russia trying to be like, you don't know what we're about to do. You don't know what we're about to do. We're so hard. We're so strong. is the invasion of Ukraine. And what was really illustrative about this current situation as it has to do with history is Putin's speech right before they invaded, when he was bemoaning the collapse of the Soviet Union, but more than that, the loss of territory and influence that the Russian Empire had for like the 300 years before that. Because I kind of think, like, we hear Soviet Union a lot when people talk about Putin and making Russia great again, basically. Make Russia great again is like the forever slogan of Russia, by the way. Like, but we hear about the Soviet Union and stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure the only things he actually liked about the Soviet Union were how big it was land-wise, because that was as big as Russia's ever been. And then when you include its sphere of influence, especially, just how powerful it was in terms of influence and military.
Well, sometimes you need a rebrand.
Right.
I don't remember his name, but there was a Russian leader. Maybe we'll touch on him in this episode, but he actually forced everybody to shave their beards.
Okay.
Like he went over kind of closer to like more Western Europe.
Yeah, that was probably one of the czars, because a big theme in this is that Western Europe thinks Russia is a bunch of fucking snow hillbillies.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he came back from Western Europe and was like, hey, beards got to go.
Yeah. You people are garbage. We all look like garbage. Everyone's laughing at us.
Clean it up.
They're all going to laugh at you. Like, that's.
Yeah, that's a big thing with people with inferiority complexes too, is talking about how people are laughing at them. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard anyone that sucks as a leader say like, oh, they're laughing at us right now. It's pretty common. But yeah, also, you know who could probably take a lesson in shaving beards? The Chechens. Those beards are bad.
They have dirty, dirty beards.
Yeah.
Really gross.
And it's not even like they have any fighters like Dagestan. It's like you see a Dagestan fighter with a beard and you're just like, okay, no, they mean business.
Because Dagestanis, they're like, oh, what should we fight in? I guess UFC, we can go fight in that. But Chechens are like, oh, we're doing war stuff. So we're all going to fight. Like, we're going to murder people.
Yeah.
Dagestanis don't got
I'll take the Dagestanis every day.
Yeah, I agree. Chechens are... It's not that they're soft.
I don't know. Their
pussies or
general kind of
anything,
died
but
immediately. So
yeah, the Russians have lost like 4 generals.
They're dumb. They're bad at war. Chechens suck at war.
I've said this on other podcasts, I think, but it is fucking hilarious that the Chechens, and now they're doing with the Syrians too, but more so with the Chechens. It's like, dude, holy shit, Putin's about to send in the orcs.
Yeah, it is that. Like when they started doing the
Urukai.
the jihad shit they were doing before they went in and all got murdered instantly, it was like, yeah.
It's like, no, bullets still work on you.
Yeah.
wouldn't work on Habib though.
You can't outbrave a bullet. You just can't.
Not how it works.
Or Hezbollah.
Well, Hezbollah, what if he becomes the ruler of Russia? I will submit.
I will too.
They'll airdrop him into Ukraine on the last day, and then it's over.
He's a hard target to hit.
Yeah.
100%.
Low center of gravity.
But I don't think Putin actually likes communism. I think he thinks communism is like pretty effete.
What if we just get Putin and Hezbollah in a room together? Do you think we could kind of work this out?
I think only one man leaves that room.
And it's Hezbollah.
Yeah. It sounds cool. Google him if you don't know who that is.
They're like the same height, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Same reach.
Yeah. Vlad's a tiny little guy.
He's a tiny guy.
He's a tiny guy.
Is he small?
He's like 5'7".
What?
Yeah.
I thought he was tall.
No.
Nah, Putin's really small.
Tall guys don't do this.
I mean, that's kind of like all the memes that were going around. It's like we should put anyone under 5'9" in camps because everyone that's invaded, like you have Napoleon, Hitler.
Napoleon was actually not small.
He was normal height.
Yeah.
But he was under 5'9".
Well, there's also, they were measuring him in French feet.
But everyone was under 5'9" back then.
It doesn't matter. Hitler, I think, was like roughly 5'9". Like anybody that's created or just had like a world impact invasion has been under 5'9".
Yeah, he was 5'9".
I mean, Genghis was
Probably
who
pretty
even
short.
knows how short? How
Dude,
he was?
5'9" is a wild number. You know who else was 5'9"? Pol Pot. Pol Pot.
Yeah.
Ah, Pol Pot.
See, dude,
Super
short,
Cuck Jake's best
Okay,
friend,
but-
Pol Pot.
and none of us
Dude,
are under 5'9",
but
so we
dude,
could dunk on these fucks.
Mao Zedong, 5'11".
Well, Mao Zedong's a revolutionary hero, Rob. I don't know what you're talking about. He didn't invade shit, except for a lot of things.
Yeah, but also, was he 5'11"? Was that like a combine 5'11"?
He was
Ooh,
5'11".
dude, Stalin was 5'5".
Huh? Stalin was
What?
tiny. I'm telling you, all these guys were short.
It's all goddamn.
If a 5'5" Joseph Stalin walked up to me,
Just punch him in the face.
yeah, I would be like, what are you doing, you little guy?
Stop it.
Hey there, buddy.
Yeah, what, you're
Hey,
just-
pet him on the head.
Hey, sweetie.
I know you're in a tizzy.
He's
about
shorter
the
than my
whole-
wife.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Fucking 5'5", Joseph Stalin came up to me. I would just pick him up and fuck him.
Yeah.
You'd have sex with him?
honestly, why not?
He was a beautiful man.
well
when he was younger.
When he was younger, yeah.
He was very handsome.
So Putin's not really a communist, which is really funny because a lot of tankies are super pro-Russia invading Ukraine because they're just like morons and they're like, Putin's Russian. Russian used to be communist, so go Russia.
Oh, dude. Well, tankies are stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
Bad news. Vladimir Putin doesn't strike me as a big proletariat guy.
No, he's not.
He strikes me as very much the fucking opposite of that.
He's a big bourgeoisie guy.
Yeah. Putin, he's a czarist, is
Yeah.
what I really think. He wants the Soviet borders and all that stuff, but he wants Imperial Russian like governance and culture. Evidence, by the way, this is something I did not realize about Putin. I don't think he actually is a Christian, but he is big on the Christian rhetoric.
Oh yeah. No, I mean it's an Orthodox nationalist.
He is
movement.
a Russian Orthodox nationalist.
Yeah, yeah.
And that also plays a lot into this history. I also think, by the way, what's really funny about Putin is I think he's also kind of like a low-key, like, Slavic supremacist.
Oh yeah. Because the Slavs are like well, they're in here, but like they look down on Slavic people.
No, he is a Slav.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of
The Nazis hated Slavs.
I'm thinking backwards. Right. Yeah.
And also, most of Western Europe thought Slavs were fucking idiots. But I think
Yeah.
he is a Slav, and I think he's a little bit of like a Slavic supremacist.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I'm mixed up.
Slav, by the way, is where the word slave comes from.
What? Really?
Because like Ottomans and and like Tartars and shit like that were fucking raiding Slavic areas and selling them off.
Damn.
Big part of Russian history too.
So the word slave literally comes from Slav.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But anyway, regardless, both the Tsars and Soviets fell into the same trap over and over again. It's all Russian. Forget like Tsar, so like communists, like those are just head coaches.
Yeah, it's forms of government.
For a program. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The program is it's like a college football program or a baseball team or something. They have no matter who's coaching them, they got the same fucking luck.
Yeah.
All through their fucking history. It defines them. That is what Russia is,
Got it.
in my mind.
Sure. Yeah.
They are essentially NCIS.
Yeah.
Just reboot it over and over again. New Orleans, Vegas,
I
Miami.
love NCIS New Orleans. Great show.
Yeah.
San Diego.
It's what convinced me to get married in New Orleans.
Really?
NCIS New Orleans. We were watching it and we were just.
Is that the one with Ice Cube? Or no, not Ice Cube.
SVU. Yeah.
First off, that's LL Cool J, different black guy.
LL Cool J. There's one with Ice T.
That's SVU.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Law and Order. Different program.
Oh yeah, you said Ice Cube. I thought Ice T.
Yeah.
And we were all talking about LL Cool J.
It's just
Yeah.
LL Cool J, who survives in.
LL Cool J is NCIS Los Angeles.
I believe LL Cool J was the first black man to survive a horror film the entire way through.
Was it
in
the Deep
Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea?
Yeah. Well, they got it. Ironically, they got no pun intended, a bigger fish.
They did.
They took out Samuel L. Jackson.
They did.
So, they didn't
A
need
fucking
LL.
shark ate me.
Yeah. It also doesn't help, by the way, that people have always said, like I said earlier, dude, Russia's next. Dude, here, look out for Russia, man. They're coming. Like, dude, Russia, like, fuck. Just wait. Give it 30 years.
It's a long time.
They're gonna be bananas.
Yeah.
They never are. In Democracy in America, actually, a book published in 1835 by Alexis de Tocqueville, if you haven't heard of it, which, by the way, the last name de Tocqueville, he's really famous for, like, history students and people who, like, really study history.
Oh yeah, for sure. He kind of went on a train, right, throughout America. And
Not really a train. He kind of pre-trained.
Okay.
Slightly
Well, he
pre-trained,
toured.
but yes,
he toured America and kind of. It was like a big slice of life how America operates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is he wanted, like, America was still a very new country, and he wanted to see what this whole, like, liberty thing was about.
Yeah. What's this experiment? How's it going?
What this and so he wrote a really definitive thing on the United States. By the way, de Tocqueville, every time I see that name, I assume that, like, some huge loser history student who is also a stoner, like, named his bong that.
De Tocqueville. That's pretty good.
Yeah, like, it has to have happened.
That's happened at least once.
de Tocqueville.
Yeah.
Are you just projecting about your time at Mizzou?
I wasn't a history student.
Okay.
Nor did I own a bong.
I didn't name my bong de Tocqueville. I wasn't a history. I was a political science student, but
Equally useless.
I'll have you know, I can sometimes comment on conflicts.
Yeah, you got a good job in the science lab.
Yeah, I have my my political science, my scientist coat, my lab coat.
I was trying to set you up for being like, oh, you were filming. Oh, look, the camera's everywhere.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wasn't going to knock that.
It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt Gleason used to always make fun of me for doing theater in high school and like creative stuff in high school and not really playing sports or whatever. He was like, I played sports. And I was like, and now look at you. You're asking to act in my videos.
That's right.
So, and I was like, and I'd be like, and you're not a professional athlete? Is that?
Well, he is a tiny man as well.
Is that accurate?
Ooh.
Gleason is a tiny man.
Small guy.
Small man.
I don't know if he's 5'9". I think he breaches 5'9".
But he's petite.
Yeah. Yes, I agree.
He's actually like 130 pounds.
Yeah. And dropping.
Yeah, because he's very vain. He's very like Dennis from Always Sunny vibes.
Big, yes. A lot.
Hey,
anyway,
Matt.
we're getting to it in
Hey,
the
Matt.
weeds on that. I don't think he listens to this. Anyway,
For
so
sure doesn't listen to
Alexis de Tocqueville concluded in his entire work. This is how he concluded the entire work. And I want to read this in full because it's crazy that he made this prediction in 1835. Now, keep in mind, in 1835, Russia had beaten Napoleon 20 years earlier. America hadn't even stolen land from Mexico yet.
Yeah.
We hadn't even won that. So, interesting. There are at the present time 2 great nations in the world, which started from different points but seem to tend towards the same end. I allude to the Russians and the Americans. Both of them have grown up unnoticed, and whilst the attention of mankind was directed elsewhere, they have suddenly placed themselves in the front rank among the nations, and the world learned their existence and their greatness at almost the same time. I assume he's kind of alluding to the Russians beating Napoleon and the Americans, I guess, fighting Britain to a draw in 1812, but also the Louisiana Purchase. If I had to guess what those
A draw?
Yeah, 1812 was a tie.
We lost it.
We lost.
Nah,
lost
it's a tie.
that
It's a tie,
war.
bro.
I think that is by far, and we'll get to it in the Patreon. I think that needs to be one of your arguments for one of our future Patreon episodes.
Who won the War of 1812?
Who won the War of 1812?
Or what was the outcome of the War of 1812?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That'll be your hot take.
Okay, cool. I'm down. All other nations seem to have nearly reached their natural limits, and they have only to maintain their power, but these are still in the act of growth. All the others have stopped or continue to advance with extreme difficulty. Those alone are proceeding, these 2 alone, Russia and the United States, are proceeding with ease and celerity along a path to which no limit can be perceived. The Americans struggle against the obstacles which nature opposes to him. The adversaries of the Russian are men. The former combats the wilderness and savage life. I think he's referring to Native Americans there. The latter, civilization with all its arms. So he's saying essentially what abuts the United States is the wilderness, that their manifest destiny.
Yeah.
And what abuts Russia is Western Europe.
Yeah. Right.
Right. The conquests of the American are therefore gained with the plowshare, those of the Russian by the sword. The Anglo-American relies upon, so the white American, I guess, upon a personal interest to accomplish his ends and gives free scope to the unguided strength and common sense of the people. The Russian centers all the authority of society in a single arm. The principal instrument of the former, the American, is freedom, of the latter, servitude. And he says this, by the way, and then you're like, what about slaves, Alexis, and all that shit, and they're blah, blah, blah. He was actually hypercritical of their treatment of American Indians and slavery. But this was just sort of his final conclusion of the cultures as a whole.
I mean, it's fucking incredible that he thought this. Like,
Right.
well, and it's salient today still, I think, too, because like, let's look at it from.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me read the last line.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Their starting point is different, and their courses are not the same. Yet each of them seems marked out by the will of heaven to sway the destinies of half the globe. 1835.
Yep.
It's incredible. It's an incredibly prescient.
I mean, I remember de Tocqueville because I remember that passage in particularly.
Yeah.
Every history course I've been in about American history is mentioned de Tocqueville, and every teacher kind of stops and is like, you really don't get how incredible this guy called it. Like,
Right.
It's just like he called the shot. He's Babe Ruth pointing at the fucking
Right.
out of the field, right? Like, he did it. I think, and it's true. Like, America has always been based off of self-interest, and all of us acting in self-interest forms a net good.
Right.
Whereas Russia has always had it is
Benevolently acting in self-interest.
right. Not
Right.
not out of any sort of like nefarious dealings or anything like that. But Russia has always been about, first and foremost, glory to Russia,
Yes.
not glory to yourself.
Right.
Like that's not part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
They're really even even their past is dystopian.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that in a bit too, but like it's like if like the way their society operated in like 1830 is the way you would write a weird dystopian society to behave in the future.
Look at their fucking literature throughout time too.
right.
It's intense.
Yeah.
It's fucking hard to read.
Yeah.
It's dark. It's it starts bad. It gets worse as the stories go on. Like I don't know,
Because
because
the whole point of wait, who's War and Peace? Tolstoy? Or Dostoevsky? It's Tolstoy.
yeah.
The whole point, or like his whole theme, is just like you can't help what happens. Shit's just gonna happen to you.
That's kind of been like a running joke on this podcast is Russia has had such a dark and just painful history that now with Putin, they're just like, it's not that bad.
Right. And they're just like, yeah, what's new?
Yeah, sure.
Like their history basically begins, I mean, like they have like Kievan Rus and the Rus pre-situation, but sort of whatever you want to call the modern or like birth of Russia starts with the Mongolian invasion of Russia.
Yeah.
And what happened when the Mongolians invaded and they thought that they were defending Europe from Asians, I guess, non-Christians? Europe invaded them too because they're like, oh, dude, let's grab some land.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So that's just shitty things happen to Russia constantly, and it's really in the blood of the people at this point.
Trauma is inherited.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So
They're the Northeast sports fan of countries.
Oh, yeah. Not fun.
Especially a Northeast sports fan whose team is always bad. So they're Jets, Mets, and Islander fans. And Knicks fans.
Knicks
Man.
fans, yeah, for sure.
Mets hit cuts deep for them for sure. And I guess like, I don't know. World War II was their 86, right?
Or they're the Bills in the 90s.
Yeah. But that's another one.
Who was their Joe Namath?
Gorbachev.
Zhukov. That was the general in World War II.
Okay.
Who won him it. So anyway, de Tocqueville, no means the first person to predict or assert that Russia should become the most important nation on earth. It goes back pretty much near the beginning of their history, within 150 years of their founding, which if you think about it, within 150 years of the United States founding, we became the most important nation on earth.
Yeah. It's 1776, 18. Yeah. Yep. We pretty much were.
Yeah.
We were almost there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what happened to Russia. After the fall of Constantinople, this is the first really great example of this. After the fall of Constantinople to the Ottoman Turks in 1453, and the true real end of the Roman Empire, the Eastern Roman Empire fell with that. There was something else that was conquered in like the 1470s. I said 1453, right? Or did I say 18? Hey, 1453.
You think we're paying attention?
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
It's a lot of data here.
People began wondering who would take up the mantle of Rome. Who would be the great Rome? Would it be the Holy Roman Empire? That might make sense. It was a bit up for debate, I suppose. Like, who was going to be the next Michael Jordan? Right? Who's the next MJ?
We got next.
Yeah. Who would be the next great nation? Who would be the next defender of Christendom and the most important country, empire, whatever on earth? One pretty important Russian, Zosimus the Bearded, who was the Metropolitan of Moscow, a.k.a. the Pope of the Russian Orthodox Church, he tossed his country's name into the hat. He was like, you know what? We got next. We're fucking huge. We're fucking powerful. We got so many people. Like, we have all this incredible land that we farm and all this, so many resources. He said, Moscow is the third Rome. And he wrote to Ivan the Great, the Tsar, Emperor, whatever you want to call it. You are the new Tsar Constantine. I'm sorry, he wrote Ivan the Great was the new Tsar Constantine of the new city of Constantine, Moscow. By the way, you know what Tsar means?
Does it just mean king?
Nope. You know what its literal translation is?
No, what is it?
Got a guess?
Head honcho.
Close. Yeah.
Boss.
Caesar.
Oh, that makes sense.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Tsar is Russian for Caesar. Kaiser, German for Caesar. So Kaiser Wilhelm also called himself Caesar because I think that might have been a Holy Roman Empire throwback.
Damn, it would have been cool if it was Boss Babe.
Boss baby? Yeah.
Boss bitch.
Boss baby Wilhelm? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what you want.
Wilhelm's going to play into this later, by the way.
Okay. It's insane to me, like, okay, so when did the Roman Empire fall exactly? Like 7?
So the Western Roman Empire fell in like 450, something like that.
Okay.
470, like 472, I think, something like that.
Okay.
And then obviously the Eastern Roman Empire fell in 1453.
Okay. So, and then Ivan the Great, when they said this, was...
Well, we're going to get to that.
Okay,
And when this happened.
Just
a short time. Wait, what did you say? Sorry.
I was just going to say the nostalgia, like the just, okay, we got to replace that thing.
Right.
Like this thing fucking fell apart.
Right.
We need another one. Like,
everybody's like, who's the new...
why does there have to be one?
Right. Who's going to be the new Nick Saban? Who's going to be the new Yankees? Like, who's going to be the new Mike?
Why can't we just have parody?
Right. Right. Exactly.
Nobody wants parody.
Everyone likes a reboot, I guess.
Yeah, no, actually, no one likes parody. Everyone likes seeing the big dog get knocked down.
Right.
Big dog eats.
Because the ratings for two non-traditional teams in a Super Bowl or whatever, World Series or college football playoff, shitty.
Yep.
Always.
Yep. You
Always.
need like an Alabama versus someone who hasn't done it in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. A short time later, the Russian Orthodox monk Philotheus wrote, So know, pious king, that all the Christian kingdoms came to an end and came together in a single kingdom of yours. 2 Romes have fallen, the third stands, and there will be no fourth. No one shall replace your Christian tsardom, according to the great theologian. Right? Cool. Great.
That's a lot to put on someone.
Yep.
Sure.
Cool. Great. Russia, huge, powerful nation. Even then, even if it was slightly less developed than Western Europe was. Again, this is after the fall of Constantinople, 1453. Maybe they could pull off asserting themselves as the most powerful nation on earth or in Europe or whatever, and be the great bastion of Christian power. Maybe they could do that. So how did Western Europe, countries like France, England, Spain, Portugal, whatever, how did they react to that? Well, Russia, they declared themselves the Third Rome in the year 1492. So Western Europe didn't give a hot shit because they were like, LOL, cool, have fun with that, you frozen hillbillies. We're going to go pillage the fuck out of these 2 new continents filled with gold that we just found.
Yeah.
Become way richer and more powerful than you and convert, and you're the Christian people? We're going to convert millions of Indians to Christianity.
Yeah.
Suck my dick.
Yeah, it's like, where are you sailing to? Oh, you can't. The sea is frozen. See
You
you
don't
later.
have a fucking warm water port, you bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
What timing? Literally 1492.
Another person
They got
set sail
Columbus.
for something. Yeah.
So they were just like, hey, you know what, you guys? And then they were all like, what? We don't care. Shut the fuck up.
That's like giving yourself your own nickname. It's lame.
Call
You
me
can't-
Dallas.
Oh, shit. I'm
Yeah.
kind of connecting dots right now. You know who probably started the movement to end Columbus Day?
Putin.
The Russians.
It's Putin.
Yeah.
It was Russian bots.
To be fair, the Russian bots usually do that type of cultural shit, right? They just really like jump on and get like woke and whatever, or get like super like racist or something just to rile people up.
No,
like
it's polarizing. It's the whole point.
Yeah, they just hop in,
It's
be
the soda
polarizing.
vision. Yeah.
They have the fire stick and they're just poking.
Yeah.
Yep, it's hilarious. Honestly, like when you spot a Russian bot, it's the funniest thing in the world. And I have done that before. Like I've spotted one and just like read their stuff.
And then it was a Spider-Man meme because
Yeah.
you're like, you're also a Russian bot. This
I am.
entire podcast operation
We're
is Russian operation.
Paid
deep
for by
state.
Vlad. I'll take money from anybody. I got a
To,
kid. I don't
to
care.
say what they want you to say?
Yeah,
You'll take money to do propaganda.
If the check's large enough.
right.
What's large enough?
This is America.
Actually, that's true. Pay to play, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? What are we doing here? Come on.
Yeah. Not fair.
Capitalism.
So yeah, Russia didn't really work out for them. Russia was left in the fucking dust, and Western Europe lapped those motherfuckers several times over in wealth, and then that wealth probably helped pay for the Industrial Revolution in Western Europe.
What do they fucking think? It's like, oh man, they just found something guilt-free pillaging.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what they got. What'd you get?
Not even guilt-free. They thought they were doing a positive good because they were converting those people to Christianity too.
They're doing it for
So like,
Christ.
dude, we're being pretty helpful and we're getting paid?
Yeah.
What?
We're saving all these souls.
Yeah.
And we get to keep all their stuff.
Rad.
Sick.
A city of gold.
Yeah. Man, it must have been wild. What are you doing?
What?
You were like doing this.
He's just bouncing.
Oh, no,
bouncing.
I was doing that with my
You flexing your ass?
my calves.
You did Kegels in the middle of the show?
No, I was just stretching. That's it.
All right. If you want, you can do Kegels. I don't care.
I got Dan over here just bouncing up and down across from me.
Yeah, I don't care. Do Kegels. It's fine.
Okay.
Next up, let's fast forward a little bit. Sorry. He's still doing Kegels.
Now I'm doing Kegels. We're all Kegling. We're little Kegler elves.
I'm in a constant state of Kegel. It's like sucking your gut in. You know what I mean?
You just got to keep it tight.
Yeah.
Keep that Kegel
I'm
tight.
constantly Kegling.
I don't know why that's so funny to me.
It's like, just all the time.
Just like you're forcing out a pee
All the
constantly.
time. It hurts so bad to poop.
You get poop while Kegling?
No, I'm
You're
just
just
saying
like-
my asshole's so tight that even a medium-sized shit is
I was
just,
gonna say-
it's a real nightmare.
Kegling while taking a shit. It's just like forcing like Play-Doh through that tiny hole to make spaghetti.
Have you ever read that about like these dudes that get off to like sucking shit back up in their assholes?
Well, that's a thing?
Yeah, they'll like shit it out like three
If you can
quarters.
think of it, it's a thing.
Yeah, they'll shit it out like 3/4 of the way. They'll fuck themselves with their own shit. They'll shit it out like 3/4 of the way. Then
I just
suck it
don't think
back
that's
up
an
in.
option for me.
Yeah, you can't just hoover all that liquid back up.
No, it's not solid.
You got to turn that little hoover into a Dyson, buddy.
I mean, if I could, because most of it's blood, so
Right.
You probably need that blood.
need that.
To be fair, it'd be more of a shower head situation for you, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like putting a shower head on your asshole to kind of like tickle it, but you're doing it with your own blood and diarrhea.
And we have adjustments.
Yeah.
Attachments.
It works.
Anyway,
Yeah, that's the
sorry.
thing, though. Dudes fuck themselves with their own turds. Probably chicks too.
Just get dicked down, please.
Right.
Like, just be a normal person and
Or
get
at
dicked
least
down.
pegged.
Yeah, like, come on.
You have any weird shit kinks, Jake?
No, I don't.
I did send Jake a hot shit vid the other day.
I
did.
will say though, when I take like a nice poop, I appreciate it before I flush.
You got to take a look at
You
it.
got to take a look.
That's just good health consciousness. Like, you can like learn a lot about yourself from your shit.
Like that was good shit.
In college, I take some pretty hefty logs and whatnot, and just some pretty rank shits because I like to eat a lot of like hot sauce, spicy food, all that stuff.
And if anything, that is what men taking pictures of their poop and sending it to their friends is what launched Snapchat.
Probably.
Oh my god, when it did
It
come
wasn't
out,
nudes. It was only dudes sending photos of their shit.
I sent to all my buddies. I was at Salty Dog Saloon. I took a picture of my ball sack and I drew a top hat and a monocle on it and drew a bunch of money signs. I just sent with the caption Goldman's sack. So Goldman Sachs. That one was sick. That's the best use I've ever gotten out of Snapchat.
That's a good story about you sexually assaulting
Your
a number
friends.
of men.
Yeah.
That's assault.
They
It's
weren't
not assault
asking,
if
they weren't
they're-
asking for it.
It's not assault if it's my balls and my friends.
It's true. You own your friends.
They shouldn't be friends with me if they
I
want
agree.
disappearing pictures
Yeah, I
from
agree.
me. That's what you're going to get.
All right, so let's fast forward to the end of Napoleon's reign, the first exile of Napoleon at the end of the War of the Sixth Coalition. Napoleon, his invasion of Russia had failed spectacularly like a couple years earlier. The Russians dealt what they believe, rightly, I might add, was the mortal blow to Napoleon's dreams of European empire. They killed Napoleon, basically.
Is that where just the phrase "never invade Russia in the winter" comes from?
Way more so than the Germans, I think.
Why do you think Russia's failing in Ukraine right now? They're invading Russia in the winter.
Right. They claim it's part of Russia,
Yeah.
and they're invading it in the winter.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Putin didn't read a book.
Didn't think about
Read a
it.
book for once, dude.
So this is a sort of inherent
But
belief.
before that, too, though, the Mongols fucked them up in the winter, and so did Japan, right?
Japan's war with them was a little bit more neutral ground.
Okay.
But
I think it was during the winter.
Yes, but it was not really that. It wasn't that part of Russia.
It's like the furthest east in a peninsula.
Yeah.
But Japan
And
did
Japan
get that
didn't
dub.
really invade. Japan did the right thing. They kind of desert storm. When we're going to talk about that too, but they kind of desert stormed Russia. They weren't trying to hold land.
Okay.
Right? Like they went in there, fucked them up, got out.
Get in, get out.
Give me a beer.
Get confident.
So it's sort of an inherent belief in their national history that they're the ones that offed Napoleon, essentially, kind of the way like a pillar of American history is like being at the forefront. We're all about freedom. We're the ones that show the world what freedom's all about.
Freedom.
Russia's like we're the tyrant killers, essentially. Mongols, Napoleon, Hitler, all that stuff. And this is true, the reason it's super overlooked. So a lot of people complain that like the Soviets don't get enough credit for beating Hitler.
A lot of people on that block this past year.
On the opposite,
before all of this, no, people. I don't. It was like 6 or 7 months ago. People were like just trying to give this like the Soviet Union so much more credit for winning World War II.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
That like it was all over Twitter.
And
like
there needs to be
a
a pendulum swing on that because they don't get enough credit in the West. Because obviously we're going to talk about our own fucking soldiers and not theirs. Dude, my grandma used to say that my grandpa's favorite people in the world were Russians. Because he was like, they're killing all the Germans.
Like, remember Stalingrad?
Yeah, he was like, they're killing all the fucking Germans. I love them. Because he commanded a Sherman tank. Those things were literally nicknamed tin coffins. He was like, please put all the German tanks on the Eastern Front and fuck them up. But anyway, the West overlooks, I think, Russia's contribution to taking down Napoleon way more than they do the World War II thing, like, because we're all about Waterloo and the 7th Coalition, blah, blah, blah. But I will say Russia does also believe in their history that they're pretty much like what the Americans and British did to the Germans was like, it was nice. But the Russians did the real work.
Yeah.
According to
that's
the
pretty,
Russians.
If you ever get into like a history Reddit thread, it's pretty common. There's some back and forth.
Yeah.
Like who did the heavy lifting? Right. Yeah.
And the real answer is it was a team effort, by the way. Like, look, and this is a little off topic, but I say this all the time when I have to get into this argument. Yeah, the Russians took up most of the Germans' resources, which was very nice for the British and the Americans. How fucking ever, the Russians had no navy. So they blockade Germany not being able to like get anything in the blockade of Europe. That was all the fucking Americans.
Russia just threw bodies.
Russia threw bodies. Meanwhile, but here's the thing: they wouldn't have been able to do that if the Germans could concentrate the entire Luftwaffe on them, which they fucking couldn't because we were the ones controlling the air in Europe and bombing the shit out of their factories. So they also couldn't make all the tanks they needed to butt fuck the Russians.
Yeah, it's hard to lay siege. I'm saying it's a lot easier to lay siege on a city like Stalingrad if you can just bomb the fuck out of it, too. Yeah, like why would you even lay siege on it? Let's just wipe it off the map.
Yeah, because guess what? Before the Americans entered the war, the Germans were not having any problems with the Russians.
No.
They were fucking the Russians up. It was only after Americans entered the war that, and also, by the way, with that stuff too, like there's only 2 countries in World War II that fought a 2-front war. Germany and the United States. So maybe calm down on trying to diminish American efforts is a little annoying. But Russia does not get nearly enough credit for beating Napoleon. After they beat Napoleon on their own turf, they
home game.
They co-headed a coalition of basically every major country in Europe, marched across the continent, defeated the French, occupied Paris. The first person to ride into the newly conquered French capital was Tsar Alexander I. First guy to ride in. After all the craziness that was the French Revolutionary and Napoleonic Wars, which was basically a proto-World War. World War I was not World War I. World War I was World War III. World War II was World War IV. World War I was the 7 Years' War. World War II was the Napoleonic Wars. And then you get the other 2, in my opinion. That's what I really think of that. Anyway, Europe, after all that crazy shit, Europe was like, we got to keep things cool. So they kind of made a little bit of like a proto-NATO, but not good.
It's not the League of Nations.
It's the super best friends.
Yeah, it's called the Concert of Europe.
The concert?
Concert of Europe. Yeah, it was Peace Aid.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Sick.
Europe city limits. I guess.
Yeah.
They wanted things to stay relatively the same, especially borders and then military power, governments, etc. When I say governments, I mean the revolutions and stuff like that. Not so much. There was actually an alliance within this alliance called the Holy Alliance between the Austrians, the Prussians, and the Russians. And they were like, not only do things need to stay the same, but they need to stay way more autocratic. Like England's way too lib.
Yeah.
England's a bunch of lib cucks letting people like kind of vote and have power and stuff like that.
Having a parliament.
Yeah, having a parliament and all, fuck that shit. And then they're not Christian enough for something like that. Anyway, unfortunately for the concert of Europe, the Eastern question arose. And this goes back to the aforementioned sick man of Europe, the Ottoman Empire. It was falling apart. It was a husk of its former self. It was dog shit. The empire that once took down the Second Rome was going down itself, basically.
Probably took a lot of resources to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the years after defeating Napoleon, the Russians had come to see themselves as the biggest, baddest, richest nation in Europe. This is actually where I thought of Ole Miss. It's like the week Ole Miss beats Alabama at home, right? And they're like, dude, maybe we're going to win it all.
Yeah.
But then, no, you're going to lose like 2
You're going to
more
go
games
9-3.
this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like any SEC West team that beats Alabama that year. It's like, oh, man.
Yep.
You're going 9-3.
Yeah, not going to happen. Russia and Tsar Nicholas I spent the decades after defeating Napoleon poaching land from both the Turks, the Ottoman Turks, and the Persians in a series of smaller wars that the Russians won pretty easily because they were beating up on nobodies. Well, one nobody.
They ain't playing nobody, pal.
They ain't played nobody, Paul.
That non-con schedule is trash.
Yep.
Yeah.
Russia was getting real fucking hyped on itself. Russia was real excited about who they were. They beat the greatest military commander in history.
Sure.
Beat the shit out of them.
That's a good dub.
It's a good dub. It's a good dub. It's a good dub. No doubt. And they're just like, dude, we're getting bigger. We're so much bigger than everyone else. Blah, blah, blah. Eventually, the British and French got a little uneasy over this, over Russia getting a little, big for its britches. And the Crimean War broke out in 1853 over reasons that historians kind of think are still confusing and muddled and dumb. Basically, Britain and France weren't happy with how big Russia was getting. Russia didn't trust Britain and France. This was for economic reasons, military reasons, all kinds of shit. Just power reasons in general.
So 2014 was just a reboot?
Yes, literally.
Yeah.
Crimea's been fought over so many fucking times.
Why?
Well, it's a great port access point.
Yeah. Dude, Crimea gets fought over every 50 years. It's fucking bananas. So Britain and France basically drew Russia into a war for getting too big for its britches. They also wanted to prop up the Ottoman Empire to keep the concert of Europe intact, to keep all the powers relatively the same, and to keep, a somewhat formidable foe next to Russia. Give Russia problems next to their home.
Yeah.
Right? So they couldn't expand as much. And they used a religious crisis in Palestine, heard that one before,
Yeah.
to kind of justify all this because the Ottomans ran Palestine. So the ascending fucking badass Russian Empire was like, fuck it, let's go. Went to war with Britain and France and the Ottoman Empire in 1853. They were like, this is it. Let's go. We were taking some land. Now let's really get into it. Maybe we can go all the way to the Balkans, get in these fucking ports, all this shit. Fuck the Turks. They got absolutely embarrassed. They got their shit pushed in. The Russians got fucked the fuck up.
All they needed was a John Smith.
Yeah.
Good
Turk.
fight. The Turks.
To be fair, the Turks were not really the big contributors in this war.
No. But if they had John Smith, he would have taken scalps.
You never know. Yeah.
Whole heads.
Whole heads.
Whole heads.
And here's the funny part. So Russia believed they were it. Right?
Yeah.
Russia thought that Russia was badass.
So
you know
what?
who didn't think that?
Everyone else.
Britain and France didn't even feel like they were going, like, before they got into the war, they were like, Russia's not a great power.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. Like, they honestly didn't want him to get bigger. They didn't want him to get to great power level. But going into the war, they're like, yeah, this is not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So
Russia's Kentucky with like 3-0 under their belt, and they're like, we're fucking, this is our year.
yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Britain and France still thought Russians were a bunch of fucking cabbage-sucking hill people. Like,
Like UK.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, literally, yeah.
Like Kentucky. Yeah.
Well,
if you really want to think about...
Please reference football.
Football. Yes. Football, not basketball.
Yes,
Football.
yeah. If you really want to think about how the rest of Europe sees Russia, just think of the Caucasus Mountains as the Appalachian Mountains. Russia is
Wow. Yeah. No,
Russia is Europe's Appalachia
Sure.
to them.
Sounds like a good time.
One French writer who actually toured, who is
good.
the Marquis de Custine, he toured Russia in the 1840s to do he wanted to do an Alexis de Tocqueville thing on Russia, right? So he toured it in the 1840s, like all excited to be like, dude, I want to check out Russia. This is going to be huge.
Yeah.
So about 10 years before the war. And he wrote, and this is basically what the rest of Europe felt as well going into the war. Russia's aristocracy had just enough of the gloss of European civilization to be spoiled as savages, but not enough to become cultivated men. They were like trained bears who made you long for the wild ones.
That's good. It's like, just be a fucking bear.
Yeah.
Stop being fancy.
Yeah,
Just
you're
be
not fancy.
You don't need to do this. That's their thing.
Real lipstick on a pig situation.
Yeah.
And so it turns out they were just that. And they shit they shit the bed so hard in the Crimean War that it made even them realize it. Like even they were like, "Oh my God, we're
Little
trash."
self-reflection.
Yeah, they were like, "We are fucking trash."
Sometimes it's a good thing.
Right.
You need that.
And maybe it would turn them around.
Humbled.
Maybe it would turn them around.
When you look at like the Red Square now, and I think of that quote, it's like, that's someone that doesn't know how to build a castle building a castle. Look at that. That is the dumbest thing you've ever seen.
No, that's rad.
It's fucking sick. I'm just kidding. But
Yeah.
it's like, it is very like, what were they going for?
Fabergé egg building.
It is a Fabergé egg. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
That thing.
If for the audio listeners at home, it's
the Kremlin.
Yeah. It's exactly what you picture.
Yeah. Is that the Kremlin?
I think so.
I thought that was something. I thought the Kremlin looked different.
What? I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, they were like, "Oh my God, we're trash. Whoa, we're fucking trash." Tsar Nicholas's son, the Grand Duke Constantine, actually wrote after the end of the war, where they got just their shit kicked in. "We cannot deceive ourselves any longer. We must say that we are both weaker and poorer than the first-class powers, and furthermore, poorer not only in material terms, but in," and this is brutal, "but in mental resources."
Damn, we're just not as smart as them.
Spiritually broken.
Dude, that's really bad.
Like Russia and Britain France and Britain broke the spine of Russia's soul. Like that scene in Dark Knight Rises where Bane just cracks Batman's back. That's what. Yeah.
Yeah, and they've been trying to get out of that pit since.
They've been trying to make that jump, and they just can't without the rope.
Yeah. I mean, this fucking war gutted them. This failure led pretty much, by the way, to it led directly to the abolition of serfdom
Interesting.
in 1862, I believe, or 61, something like that. I think 62 is the same year as the Emancipation Proclamation. They realized that their serf economy, their slave economy, couldn't keep up with industrial powers.
Right, no, because people are just fucking pushing dirt around
The exact
all day.
same way
Yeah.
the Confederacy was fucking economically backwards compared to the Union.
Yeah.
Like the North was way more economically viable than the South. The exact same thing happened in the Crimean War. You had a slave state fighting capitalist states without slavery.
Yeah.
And the capitalist states butt fucked them.
Right, because you have more people with more capacity to think because they're not fucking slaves.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that led to the direct emancipation of serfs, which, by the way, is probably one of the reasons that Britain and France didn't intercede on the side of the Confederacy in the Civil War 10 years later. Because, like,
I mean, they were talking about it.
they were potentially into it to fuck up America.
Yeah.
It was geopolitically, it would have been smart.
Sure.
If they were super interested in.
Getting some shit back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Tsar also believed after the war that his soldiers did so bad. And now they also realized that their military technology was dog shit. Their administration was super corrupt. And all. By the way, does this sound fucking familiar?
Yeah, it's tale as old as time.
They also realized that free soldiers fought better than slave soldiers.
Of course.
Does this sound fucking familiar?
Yeah.
Do right now.
Game of Thrones.
Oh, do you mean like the people that are being conscripted and like it's a military exercise?
Yes.
They're getting thrown into fucking
Russia's
war?
literally putting
Yeah.
serf soldiers in the war right fucking now.
Yeah.
Russia, this is hilarious, by the way, also forced to sell Alaska to pay off war debts.
That's how we have that state?
So I read that, and then I thought to myself, because I knew we bought Alaska
Who'd
from
they
Russia.
sell it to, though?
Us.
Okay.
We bought Alaska.
We time jumped then. There's
10 years.
10 years.
But they needed.
When did they sell it to us? Because it didn't become a state immediately, obviously.
It was one of the last ones, yeah.
Yeah. So when did we I guess,
State it.
own Alaska?
Trying to figure it out. 1867.
Okay.
But they were so broke that they had to like sell parts. They
Been there before, man.
Yeah. And they also realized, I think part of it too was they realized that if Britain and France went to war with them again, or anyone else, or Germany or someone went to war with them again, that they would, I think specifically Britain though, that they would probably conquer Alaska and take it from them. So they didn't want Britain to have Alaska.
BC right there.
Right. So they didn't want Britain to have Alaska, so they sold it to the U.S.
Yeah.
That was another reason. So anyway.
This sounds like my 2019.
What?
Just Russia being down so bad that they're just selling off whatever they can, pay the bills.
Yeah.
You're downloading the Poshmark app.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Be like, man, just buy this camera, please.
As a fun aside, by the way, the U.S., most of the U.S. land basically exists because of other people trying to pay off war debts.
Yeah, I mean, like the Louisiana Purchase would make sense there.
The Louisiana Purchase was sold to the United States because Napoleon needed to fund his wars.
Wouldn't the Gadsden Purchase also be in that?
Which one was the Gadsden Purchase?
I think that's like that's that strip above Mexico of like New Mexico, Arizona.
Oh yeah, that's a little tiny one though. But yes, I think so.
Yeah.
But the other one, people forget.
So like who owns Greenland? Denmark?
Yeah.
So when they were trying to off Greenland, do you think Denmark's just revving up for some battles?
It's a good asset. It's like owning a home, right?
Yeah.
You got to just let it appreciate some more.
But should we keep an eye out for Denmark?
Well, no, what we should hope is that Denmark gets into a war because then Greenland's ours.
Yeah, then we get Greenland.
Yeah.
But also, too, Greenland will appreciate if it gets warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
maybe some good farmland at some
also,
point.
it's one thing that like,
Those beaches?
yeah. Well, people don't think about it, but it's like, if you don't believe in climate change, don't listen to this part. But like, it is getting warmer. That's a fact. It's happening. So
It was like 36 degrees this morning.
yes, there's a difference between weather and climate. Everyone knows that. Anyway,
I don't know that.
Yeah.
And I don't believe it.
okay. So hypothetically, let's say it's getting warmer then.
We're not going down this road, Jake.
Who does it benefit? The place with all of the northern coastline? Like, think of
Russia is real hyped to have some entire.
Yeah,
northern-
Russia's entire like game plan for the future is hoping
It gets
it's going to
warmer.
open up some
I
shit.
it
honestly,
moves the
like,
breadbasket up.
If
Yeah,
if
of
I was
course.
Russia, I would open 1,000 new coal plants.
Yeah.
No, they should.
I would be burning coal for fun. I would have a coal burning Olympics.
I'd be like, hey, get out that hairspray.
Yeah.
Spray it into the sky.
Fucking
Let's go.
Load up
Literally.
on some cows to fart in the air.
Yeah.
Yep.
All the chlorofluorocarbons you can get.
1,000,000%.
No, because
so that
it's-
is kind of the funny thing.
They're melting the permafrost.
Yeah.
That is
And then they're bringing it back to Woolly Mammoth.
like that is where really like the geopolitical stuff of climate change comes in, is that like what we don't want to happen if climate change gets bad enough, and I'm not saying it will, but I'm saying that it could or it might, or what would happen if it did, is that if things get warmer, for one thing, our arable land, our farmable land becomes less useful, and Russia's land becomes far more useful.
Right.
It benefits Russia
Yeah.
a lot.
All
now,
of
to
it
be fair, it doesn't benefit China.
No, it actually fucks China.
Fucks China.
Yeah.
Well, China plans 50 years in advance.
They do. Yeah, but anyway.
They do
so
not operate the same.
The other part of the U.S. that we got from war debts is the original 13 colonies. We revolted because of taxes that England put on us to pay for the 7 Years' War, a.k.a. the First World War, a.k.a. the French and Indian War.
Yeah.
And we were like, we're not paying for that war that you fought to save us. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck your tea.
My rights.
But my incomes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, remember that too, Tankies. We wouldn't live here if it wasn't for people not wanting to pay taxes.
Right.
That's literally the foundation of our country, that and religious freedom. So, these people have always existed.
Yeah.
Like,
Fuck taxes.
Yeah. But also, let me believe what I want.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Most people are fine with taxes getting raised when they don't own a home, basically.
Or, there's, I'm not getting into it.
Yeah, it's fine. We're
Yeah,
getting into it. Anyway, so Russia, Crimean War, fucking embarrassment. Whatever progress they thought they made, wiped off the board. Like, no one respected Russia after that. Russia didn't even respect Russia after that. So Russia sought to modernize, obviously destroyed the serf, abolished serfdom, all that stuff. They want to become a super duper legit power. So they began expanding across Asia. They took Afghanistan, they took other lands across like the steppe, and they hit the Pacific Ocean, and they invaded Manchuria. And they also built the Trans-Siberian Railway.
It's a big one. That's a huge railroad.
Is that the Polar Express?
Kinda. It's not.
It's the Trans-Siberian.
Yeah. But the problem was, it was, the 1890s by this point, started to bump up against another little rising power called Japan.
Yeah.
And once again, the Russians started to get it in their head a little bit that, maybe they were like the toughest kid in Europe. And it was like, maybe their duty to defend Christianity and white people from Asia.
Yeah.
Right? Like, dude, there's a lot of Asians. One of the reasons they felt this way was because of the Yellow Peril being promoted by Kaiser Wilhelm II. He was really into the Yellow Peril. Essentially, Kaiser Wilhelm was like, dude, there's so many fucking Asians, and they're not Christian, and they're obviously not white. And one day, I bet I'm pretty sure they hate Jesus. And one day, they're gonna be like, hey, fuck white people, and they're gonna come and they're gonna invade us. The Mongols did it in the 1300s or whatever, 13th century. They're gonna do it again. They're just waiting. They're getting horny to be a horde again.
They're scheming.
Yeah, they're
down there.
scheming little Asians.
They are putting together all their horses. They're going to ride up and get us all.
He was like, dude, there's so fucking many. So Wilhelm encouraged his literal cousin, Tsar Nicholas II.
Yeah.
Because all these people
are all fucking related.
They're all
Yeah.
cousins.
immediately related.
Yeah.
They wrote regularly. They were bros. They were friends. He wrote that he should do something about it. He wrote that God himself had chosen Russia to defend Europe from Asia. And so he was like, dude, take hella Asian land. Russia was they invaded Manchuria, and they were potentially trying to annex Korea
Okay.
as well, or parts of Korea.
I mean, that puts them in the same place, the same kind of region as like that, general sphere of like the Russo-Japanese War, right? They're already in that area.
Yeah, so they're totally
thinking about that space.
They basically border Japan.
Yeah.
In terms of water, right? Like their empire abuts Japan. Like it's next to Japan.
Well, yeah, Manchuria is the spot right above the Korean Peninsula.
Right.
Yeah. So that makes sense. And also, yeah, I mean, like I'm just pulling up the map here. So yeah, like Manchuria is here.
Yep.
That's Japan. Like
Yep.
they're thinking about.
They
here.
were like the Russians should take Korea too. Wilhelm said that and all that stuff. So
Oh, you have to show me a picture. You don't think I just know that?
you don't think I know where Korea is, bro?
I served.
So
It's the Florida of Southeast Asia. Everyone knows where it is.
Nicholas loved hearing this, but he was down to negotiate with the Japanese and not get into a war over it. He
Yeah.
thought, honestly, that Russia had the fucking, the political influence, and he thought they were so much more powerful, all that stuff, that they'd be fine.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're fucking Russia. Who are these little tiny fucking Japanese? They're not going to fucking do anything.
This island
Like,
nation.
we're fucking Russia. Japan, they've existed for 12 minutes as far as the West is concerned? Fuck them. We're Russia. We're Russia.
Yeah, we own the swath of land.
Yeah. So, but Nicholas was still down to negotiate. Didn't necessarily want a war. Right? Didn't necessarily want a war.
Yeah.
So then his cousin Wilhelm wrote him a pretty scathing letter. He said,
You're being a bitch.
yeah. You need to be undertaking the protection and defense of the white race, and with it, Christian civilization against the yellow race. And whatever the Japs, what he said, are determined to ensure the dominion of the yellow race in East Asia, to put themselves at its head and organize and lead it into battle against the white race. That is the kernel of the situation, and therefore there can be very little doubt about where the sympathies of all halfway intelligent Europeans should lie. Like, again, he's like, they're fucking coming for us, bro. England betrayed Europe's interests in America in a cowardly, betrayed Europe's interest to America in a cowardly and shameful way over the Panama Canal question, so as to be left in peace by the Yankees. Will the Tsar likewise betray interests of the white race to the yellow as to be left in peace and not embarrass the Hague Tribunal too much?
Also worthy of note, Hitler's not the only German who was really into racial superiority.
Right. Well, all Europeans.
No, they all were. They
Yeah.
they came from a fucking really small family line of white people.
Right.
They tried to keep that pure the entire time.
Yeah.
That's why you have all these
And
weird recessive things.
All around that time, everybody was super into eugenics.
This is like
Eugenics was hot.
1850s?
No, this is 1890s now.
Okay, yeah, eugenics is really hot.
This is when fucking Tesla was into eugenics big time.
Helen Keller.
Helen Keller. Helen Keller would have read this Tsar letter and been like, hell yeah.
Good.
Hell yeah, let's go. Even I can see this, what we're supposed to do.
Wow.
She's like, heard that.
Tee.
Figuratively, obviously.
Go back and listen to that episode if you haven't already.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a really good one.
So Wilhelm was like, are you serious, you bitch? I thought you were white.
Yeah.
What, you ain't white?
You like these yellow folk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So ultimately, though, even though Nicholas was down to clown, it was the Japanese who attacked first because the Japanese were like, let's just do it. They're going to do it. By the way, the Japanese, what they did here, they did again in Pearl Harbor. And obviously the Russian rulers were different then than they were in World War II or whatever because there was the Communist Revolution. You can draw a direct line from the Russo-Japanese War to 1945.
I'm sure you can.
It's all the same. It's the same government, the same people, all that stuff. Like there's no revolution there. Anything
What
like
do
that.
you mean same?
I don't know.
What do you mean same?
Yeah. No, the Russians or the Japanese, I should say, were like these are the Japanese that fought in the Russo-Japanese War. They are the same.
There's not a big
Japanese
regime.
government.
There's not a big regime
No,
shift.
this is the same Japanese government, the same Japanese goal, all that stuff that fought in World War II. It's the same fucking thing.
Sure.
It's that I find really fascinating. So the Russians, but they were like, we got it, we got this. Fuck. I mean, they were shocked to be attacked at Port Arthur and stuff like that. In a surprise attack by the Japanese. But they're like, all right, let's fucking go. Again, they got embarrassed and completely lost face with the rest of Europe. And this is like an SEC team losing to an FCS team, which I can't imagine. Could you?
Shut up. We did it once. Georgia Southern beat us in 2013.
The own tackle.
Yeah. We blocked ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The own block. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was in terms of like how it was taken at the time. And in retrospect, it's not an embarrassing loss in a war.
Yeah, because Japan became what they were.
Right.
Yeah. They were
However,
very powerful.
at the time, this was about as embarrassing as a loss could possibly be. I mean, this goes beyond.
This is Prairie View beating Alabama.
Yeah.
Or Ole Miss.
I mean, yeah.
No, this is the kid who said, "You're not ready for what I'm about to do," getting his ass beat by the quiet kid in the other in the hallway. He just keeps to himself. Doesn't really like hang out with anybody.
He's the hoodie kid that's quiet with his hood
but
up
he's
all the
not
time.
tough. Like he is a pussy.
He's in like D wing.
Or
You don't
youth-
really
everyone
know.
thinks he's
You've never
supposed to
really
be.
seen him much, but when he does pop in, he doesn't really interact with anyone.
He's the kid that wheels in the TV for the movie lesson. He's an AV.
Yeah.
He's quiet. He likes manga.
And then you're like, "What's this guy's deal?" And then
Yeah.
he beats his ass.
Yeah. He's like, we're going to kick your ass, AV kid. And they're like, what?
And then he starts to battle rap over his dead body.
It's like, all right, chill. Stop battle rapping. You got a good fight.
So, by the way, Russia really got fully dragged into this war. So, you know everything I just read from Wilhelm?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Wilhelm's real motivation was that Russia was allied with France and Japan was allied with Britain. And France was not going to come to the aid of Russia if they got in a war with Japan, who was allied with Britain. Mm-hmm. And so the whole point was if Russia, like, I guess, asked for help from France, they'd be like, oh, dude, we can't, like, because then Britain, and we're boys with Britain, so we fucking can't. So then Germany would be like, see, they're not your boys, but we could be your boys.
It was to bolster alliances with Germany.
It was to switch alliances.
Okay, so
it was to get Russia and Germany on the same side, because as you remember, they were not on the same side of the weird alliance web that started World War I. Right. On opposite sides.
He was gaslighting.
Yeah. Yeah. That is
so. In order to better set up war alliances, they made a country go to war.
Yes,
they kind of,
and then that country because Wilhelm did think that Russia would probably beat Japan. Everyone thought Russia would beat Japan.
Right.
It's a layup, man.
Yeah.
So, Kaiser Wilhelm, you wanted Russia into a war with Japan, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure.
So Russia getting kind of back to their whole. Like, dude, I think we might be it. Embarrassed harder than ever. Then, I'm just going to go through these last ones really quickly.
Okay, so we've made a lot of sports analogies here. Yeah, that's kind of our default. This is just Texas football.
Yep.
This is Texas football. Like, we don't have to make any more analogies.
Yep.
With
Yeah.
sports. It's Texas football.
It's Texas football. 2005 was World War II.
Yep. Yeah, and whatever the 70s were was Napoleon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
Earl Campbell is the Napoleon era.
Sure. Yep.
Russia, again, is like, okay, but we're still good. And then World War I happened, and they got fucking embarrassed in World War I. They left the war early because they were getting embarrassed so bad. Obviously, then the Communist Revolution happened, Russian Revolution happened, blah, blah. They were badasses in World War II. However, it should be worth noting, they also were still trying to chase clout using the Nazis and riding the Nazis' coattails before the Nazis invaded them. They invaded Poland with the Nazis.
Yeah, there's like a whole neutrality thing with them. Yeah.
And then used the Nazis' situation as sort of a smokescreen to invade Finland.
Yeah. And
who was an autonomous democracy that they had no right to invade. As much as you want to talk about Ukraine being corrupt, it was a corrupt government, that's fine and whatever. But like Finland wasn't. When the Soviets invaded World War II, like that was just them stealing fucking land.
Didn't Finland fuck them up?
Finland fucked them up.
Yeah.
Finland took like 4 Russian soldiers for every Finnish soldier lost.
There's a really famous sniper story from that war.
We might have to cover him at some point. Yeah,
the Ghost, I think his name was, or something like that.
We absolutely should. It's Finland.
He crawled like...
It was called the Winter War, and they fucking
They beat the shit out of him.
He for sure wasn't the Winter Soldier, right?
No.
Captain America? Yeah.
No, he was, the Ghost of something. I think that's where the Ghost of Kyiv or whatever kind of like originated from.
Yeah, no. There's some crazy story of him like crawling insane distances in the snow just to get like one shot.
And just his body count is
it's absurd.
Absurd.
Yeah, he's come up before on things when I'm like, what should I talk about? Yeah. That guy is always up there. I'm like, maybe we just
before the Soviet Union even like really got into World War II, they lost 6 figs in Finland
from that guy alone. Yeah,
maybe, fucking maybe.
He took out, I think it was like 3 digits.
Yeah,
I feel like this guy.
It was impressive.
Yeah,
so World War II happened. That's fine. They were great. They fought brilliantly and bravely, and they deserve to fully celebrate their defeat of the Germans. There is no question about that. Obviously, it's insane to say that they didn't need the British and U.S. help because that's ridiculous. But
that's like saying a quarterback. That's like a quarterback saying they don't need an offensive line.
It's like what did I say about sports?
So I'm sorry.
It's over.
Last one. Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, like what? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't need air superiority. You didn't need German factories to be bombed because you weren't doing it. Yeah. You weren't fucking doing it at all. And obviously we took up a lot of German resources just fighting on the Western Front as well.
And they still, by the way, they fight the same fucking way still.
Right. And
they
by
just
the way,
march shit in.
Oh, they throw bodies. They just throw bodies at everything. It's crazy.
I mean, if you got them.
Smoke them if you got them.
You know what the fucked up thing is, though? So that works against Ukraine. That works against Georgia. That works against Chechnya because it's a tiny little baby. Ukraine's pretty big, like 44 million. That's a big country. But Georgia, Chechnya, that for sure works.
South Ossetia is nothing.
Right.
Yeah, you can do that there.
But here's the thing. That's fine if Russia wants to fight that way against countries smaller than them. But that's been their strategy to win wars against other big boys.
Yeah.
And First off, it didn't work against the British and French in Crimea. They tried to throw bodies at them, and it was a fucking slaughter. They can't throw bodies at America, who is twice the population of Russia. They can't throw bodies at certainly China or even just Western Europe. Russia's 150 million people. I think the EU is like 700 million people.
Yeah.
They can't throw bodies at anyone.
No, and that's not even the name of the game with war anymore. That's the thing. Like, we don't even fight that way, really.
I think actually pretty much everyone except for like 8 countries still kind of tries to.
Well, because that's all they know how to do.
Right.
I mean, we don't do that. We don't
No, we
throw
don't.
bodies at shit.
No.
We're just going to,
We're like hilariously efficient.
it's just, we have so much more technology.
Yeah.
We're just going to beat the
So
shit
is
out
this
of them.
kind of where we end with the Russian history?
Well, so you have the Cold War, and they get real close. That's the closest they ever got to really realizing it, the Soviet Union.
I didn't know if you were going to touch Afghanistan.
Well, and then Afghanistan happens. That pretty much, that and the whole Reagan spending situation, that collapses the Soviet Union. They were so close. Dropped off again after an embarrassment. Now, here we are with the Russians once again attempting to prove that they're like super legit and deserve respect after being embarrassed from trying to prove that they were legit.
Okay.
This is a fucking cycle. It happens again and again and again.
What's your suggestion for solving that cycle?
I don't know, man. Show the Russian people that they're pretty rad, actually, and that they deserve better.
Like
they're
they
just-
deserve better leadership.
Dude, I know people hate using this analogy, but they are a woman getting into one abusive relationship after another.
Yeah.
Like they fucking are. Czars, communist leaders,
Yeah.
Putin. Like they
Premiers
just,
or whatever they call them. Yeah.
they deserve better. Because they make brilliant art. They seem really cool. I feel like Americans would actually get along with Russians very well in terms of like go look up like Russian videos. It's all them like taking an AK-47 and shooting a fridge full of dynamite. You don't think Texans would like Russians?
God, who was the guy? The guy that was always on FPS. Somebody. He was like a big YouTube guy.
Yakov Smirnov.
Is that what his name was? No, that's not.
No, he opens
In
up at
Soviet
Branson, so-
Russia,
FPS. I forget his
what
name.
fucks you?
Yeah, there was a guy that would just shoot shit all the time. Like he'd just get a crazy weapon, shoot it on YouTube. I used to watch that guy all the fucking time. He was great.
The Russian people are great. It seems like a great country. They just keep having terrible. Well, it's a funny Family Guy joke that every Russian woman is either a 0 or a 10.
Yeah. There's no in between.
There's none. They deserve better, but this is historically the sort of cycle that they're on. It's what they do. They just, it's like the world. Sometimes they're like a trust fund kid or something. You're like, I fucking deserve this. And other times they get high on other people's hype. You know
But
what I mean?
they cycle and they never take the post-cycle therapy.
Oh, no.
They never take the PCT.
That's not good.
So their
balls are shut off.
just drops.
Yeah. FPS Russia, by the way, was actually a guy from Franklin County, Georgia, pretending to be Russian on YouTube. Yeah, he's just shot shit.
They do that though.
Yeah.
Like they love.
No, for
I
sure.
mean, every dash cam footage you've ever seen is from Russia.
all the best.
And it's all
Oh, yeah.
fantastic. Everybody has their own camera.
Yeah.
It must be so. Why they started that shit, right? The dash cam thing. Russians always had that. Like,
Because crazy shit happens in Russia.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like you need proof that it even. It's like, well, a bear on a bike just came out and like fucked up my passenger, and then
Russia is the cold version of Europe's Florida.
In a lot of ways.
Russia man, Florida man, one and the same.
What'd you guys learn today?
go home, Russia. Just go home. Try again in 50 years. Or I guess 4.
I would prefer they don't.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I would prefer something new happen. Don't you got to feel like the world is like, and I don't want like some this isn't like me being like, oh, global government, blah, blah, blah. But don't you kind of think the world is really just like 2 countries away?
from being a global government?
Not a global government, but like everyone moving in the same direction. We don't have to govern ourselves, but everyone kind of like doing it right.
Yeah. No, I mean,
There's always going to be a dickhead.
There's always going to be a dickhead, but like, just hopefully not one strapped with nukes. Because that's really the problem.
My thing is
There's
like
some countries
if
that are
aliens
becoming a
came
problem.
down-
Actually, not even nukes is the problem. Strapped with ICBMs.
There's some problems now, or problems that are arising in other countries right now with like Turkey and Poland.
Those are minor problems.
Yeah, but
And Poland's our ally. so it's fine.
What's wrong about Poland?
They're a little
Authoritarian
hard right. Like not like hard right, like Brian Stelter would call Ron DeSantis hard right, like hard right.
Oh,
Like-
you mean fascist?
Like not that, but like getting there.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't want to be gay in Poland type of situation.
Like socially conservative hard right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, man. My thing with the one world government thing, like obviously there's a lot of problems that can come with that if there's no way to contest it. Like you got to have.
I'm not for it.
No, but my thing is, and this is definitely from my brain, if an alien comes down, if aliens are like, all right, we want to meet Earth president, who's going? Who's number one? It's probably the U.S.
It's Joseph Robinette Biden.
That's right. It's for now. I would want the president of the United States to talk to an
He
alien.
walks up to a 6-eyed octopus and
Would it
he's
just
like,
be
listen
the-
here, Jack.
Would it just be the head of the UN?
It should be the former head of the UN, Boutros Ghali.
Yeah.
I think that's
Sure.
who it should be.
But what did you learn today?
It is history repeats itself, but that's not something I learned. I think I actually didn't realize Crimea was fought over that often, so that's pretty interesting to me. It makes sense though, because the port access, and then also, Russia sucks.
Oh, fuck. I forgot to mention this in here. Really funny thing. That's kind of a Russian cell phone, but it's more like, how could they have had the foresight for it? So during the Revolutionary War, the U.S. Revolutionary War, Britain asked Russia to get involved and send 20,000 troops to the U.S. to fight the Americans.
Yeah.
Catherine the Great was not interested because she was happy with Britain, bleeding out.
Right.
On,
It's like, that's
and
your
losing their
fight.
colonies or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is hilarious because they not letting the United States become the United States probably hurt Russia a lot in the long run. Like, who stops the Soviet Union? Well, maybe then who stops Nazi Germany? That's a fun history, like sort of exercise or whatever.
Yeah.
Butterfly effect of
Right.
not helping out in the revolution.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, God, you think about that though, then the UK just gets fucking massive.
Maybe.
Yeah, or they just can't manage
Yeah.
the thing across the ocean, and
Right.
someone else. It eventually happens anyway.
Yeah.
Who's to say it just doesn't happen for?
I would guess that
4 years
I would
later?
guess that the Americas eventually would have just balkanized.
Yeah, so you mean just like mini states?
Yeah.
Like a lot of territories. I mean, yeah, especially like think of like the west of the Mississippi. How do you govern that from?
It wouldn't have been
the UK. Yeah,
Well, if anything, Russia might have moved in.
just across the strait.
Yeah, why not?
And down.
Why not? What'd you learn today, Daniel?
I learned that they were actually kind of self-aware of their failures.
Yeah, after the
Sometimes.
first Crimean War.
Sometimes.
There's like,
Sometimes.
ooh.
But then other times.
Honestly, Russia's problem is that they're usually deeply, very not self-aware.
Russia is that kid that keeps touching the hot stove and expecting himself to be able to do it.
Or
Yeah.
is Russia so self-aware that they keep getting in their way? They're in their own head.
I think
They
they're
can't help
definitely in their
themselves.
own head.
Yeah.
They're definitely.
Oh, they're
in their
absolutely
head.
in their own head. There's no country on earth whose psychology is more fascinating to me, not even the United States, than Russia's.
And the United States is a fascinating one in its own right.
Yeah, true.
It's one of the weirdest by far.
Oh, yeah.
but,
Freud was wrong. The Irish are not the only people impervious to psychoanalysis.
I don't even think that's. The Russians aren't impervious to psychoanalysis. It's just that
The Americans are.
Yeah, I would say Americans are for sure. And then Russians are like, it's just the same fucking story in every brain.
And then who is this episode's Hitler?
Hitler. Kaiser Wilhelm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wilhelm was a fucking
Wilhelm
douchebag.
Yeah.
caused Hitler.
Yeah.
In a way.
I would say, all the genocide, saber rattling,
Yeah.
protect the white guys. Like,
Yeah.
but it was really just for, Kaiser gonna Kaiser.
I just still, my favorite thing from the whole, and I had read this long before we did this episode, but just de Tocqueville calling that.
That's such a fucking, it is, there's a reason I remembered as soon as you said his name, I was like, I got the flash of me sitting in senior year American government class in high school.
Right.
And the guy, my teacher at the time talking about that. And it's like, yep, that's still pretty crazy. You got that so right.
I don't know. I think John Titter or whatever on the message forums that called 9/11. I think that was more impressive.
Yeah.
What?
Do you remember that guy?
John Titter?
The guy that claimed to be from the future and then just like was on a message forum saying like 9/11's going to happen.
I don't remember that.
It was a fake thing, but they,
A Time Traveler's Tale by John Titor.
Yeah.
Titor.
Titor.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm going to look into this now. He was on Art Bell.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm going to definitely, have you guys ever listened to Coast to Coast? Or Post
Yeah,
to Post?
back in the day,
Good
It was
stuff.
fun. It's good times.
Yeah.
That's like harmless conspiracy stuff.
That's
though.
what I miss. That's what I miss so much. I miss early InfoWars.
It's not being like there were no like all the dead kids at Sandy Hook are fake.
No, yeah, that's a really hurtful conspiracy theory.
Right.
Like, no, I mean, like, there's definitely conspiracy theories that we won't get into it. Never mind.
No.
I'll start talking about conspiracy theories. That'll be another 30
that
minutes.
Ooh,
for
I found a good one that I think you should do. I don't know if you ever heard it before, but I found it in research for this. The new chronology. It has to do with the sort of Russian superiority situation.
Oh, you want me to do another
it's-
Russian conspiracy
Well,
episode?
essentially,
Another Russian episode.
They believe
See?
that the Roman Empire was fake.
What?
Shit like that.
I can
Look
get down
up
with
the
that.
new chronology. I'll send you the
That
link.
seems fun, but
New chronology? Flamenco?
Yeah,
Pseudo-historical
Yeah.
conspiracy. Oh, wow.
that's your fucking wheelhouse.
Yeah, this is that.
well, take it offline then.
Yeah, we will.
But yeah, that's all I got for today.
Make sure to check out the website, softcorehistory.com. Buy some merch. I got plenty of new merch. Some people have already bought their tees.
Shout out to, I
They're-
forget his name, but dude, the guy who sent us the I am ungovernable thing, the picture.
Wearing the Unabomber
Wearing
hoodie.
the Unabomber hoodie with his fucking assault rifle.
Yeah, that was
And-
sick.
Sunglasses on. I couldn't see his face really. That was.
Yikes.
I don't know that I've ever laughed that hard and been that afraid at the
Yeah.
same time.
It's like, you were already like that. You just like the shirt.
Yeah.
No. And thanks
Thanks
for
It was
buying.
the caption that
Thanks
really
for
did.
buying.
Yeah, and thanks
I
for
am
buying that.
ungovernable.
Yeah, that's
We got
awesome.
hats, tees, crew neck sweaters.
That's the American psychology, by the way. That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah.
Go ahead and leave a review if you can on both Spotify and Apple. Spotify, you just have to hit the star, give us 5 stars. Please and thank you. Leave a review. That helps us significantly move up the charts on Apple. Tell a friend about the podcast. That's always, word of mouth is the best way to grow this podcast and helps us get paid. And all those proceeds go to us. So that's sick.
They do.
And then, yeah.
We are launching a Patreon soon.
We're launching a Patreon with some we've already shot some content. We're getting that ready, just so there's stuff for you to actually listen to and watch when you sign up.
There's a great crossover with us and the Iconoblast.
Iconoblast, yeah.
We do a quiz game show against them.
Little game show.
History trivia.
And then we have, of course, an Instagram, Softcore History on Instagram. Follow us there. We got plenty of memes from our friend Boosh.
What's up, Boosh?
Some custom-made memes just for us. And then, obviously, clips, some funny little tidbits that we throw in there. And, yeah, that's it, man.
Sick.
So
Sir, so for Jake Goldman and Dan Jester,
you just got soft served.